a weight loss surgery patient. You know, when I was starting to do this talk, I was a little intimidated. Because everybody's, I know it's hard to believe. But I was a little intimidated because a lot of the other speakers have letters after their name. Kate Nash. But I do actually have letters. I have a BA, actually two. One in English literature, one in French literature. No, I cannot speak French. It's been a very long time. I also have a master's in education, MED. I use that when I'm mad at people. I put it behind my name. I send complaint letters off. It's very impressive. And then the one I'm most proud of is QOV. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know that that means Queen of Vans. Yes, because I love sneakers. And so, yeah, I was going to wear Vans today, and then I thought, man, I love my weight loss surgery family, and I wanted to show you that you meant a lot to me. So I brought only one pair of Vans to the conference. It was hard. Look. I know. Yep. My Converse sister right here, too. I have 28 pairs of those, too. I might have a transfer addiction. I don't know. But, you know, my weight loss surgery journey, it wasn't something that I did by myself. So I do want to give a shout out to the people who are here supporting me. So I've got my support group now. Okay. St. Joe represents. I have my beautiful Instagram weight loss surgery sisters. I met these women on Instagram, and we met at meetups across Southern California. They've come to my house. Yeah, you should meet people before you invite them to your house. I'm just saying. My bestie came in from Texas. And then probably my biggest supporter, Mr. Vans Hoarder supporter himself. Yeah, this is my husband, Ken. So I could not be here today if it were not for all of these people. Okay? But I have to say, the reason why I wanted to talk is because I am a weight loss surgery patient. All the fun and games aside. I am just like you. Okay? And so, when we talk about our journeys, some of us can get off track, myself included. Okay? And so, you know, this talk came from my walk. There are only two areas that we're going to touch on today that I am not personally, experiencing. Everything else I have had in my life, or am struggling with right now, okay? But I'm not going to lie. I may make some of you uncomfortable. Because, you know, when you walk this journey, after a while, we kind of, I don't want to say we get lazy, but we get complacent. And so, this was not the original name of the talk, but I did want to make it PG for people that come in. So, cut the crap is good, because it tells you that what you see is what you get. I'm a pretty straight shooter. I'm a high school teacher. I always tell my students, I will not talk smack behind your back. I'll say it to your face. Okay? Am I too low? Too low? Oh, those waves aren't for me. Okay. Just making sure. I'm confused on the hand signal. So, just so you know, though, I'm not your doctor. I'm not your preacher. I'm not your teacher. I am a teacher, but I'm not your teacher. I'm not your mama. I'm just your weight loss surgery sister. Okay? So, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but at the same time, you know why you're here, right? That's why we're all here every year, is to come and motivate one another and to kind of refill our bucket of motivation. Okay? There are 4 possible responses that you might have. I might offend you. I have given myself a $100 limit on swear words. The F-bomb is worth $50. So you're not going to get that one, because if I used it twice, I wouldn't be able to swear the whole time. Okay? Because you got to keep it real, right? So there's that. I might offend you. And I don't mean to, but, you know, I'm not your average high school teacher. I do not swear at my students, but my colleagues, however. You may be upset. I may upset you. I may hit a trigger. If you've had trauma in your life, it is not intended. Okay? It is not intended. I myself have had trauma. We have all had trauma in one way or another. And so if I upset you, it is certainly not intended. You might get angry. That one might be intentional. I'm not going to lie. Okay? Because when I'm on Instagram, Katie can't serve. I can't. That doesn't have anything to do with weight loss surgery, though. But, I can't serve. So, but you could be like, oh. But I'm hoping afterward, you might give me a fist bump, like, yeah, okay, you got me, girl. All right. So, and you may be in the crowd that's like, yes, I've been waiting for someone because I got someone that I told that to, and they think I'm lying. Yeah. Okay. So you might be excited. If you do not feel any emotion at all, either I'm not doing my job, or we might have to have a little talk afterward. Just saying. Okay? Because if you're not feeling anything on your journey, if I don't piss you off, if I don't make you go, yeah, that's amazing, or I don't, you don't have any type of emotion, maybe boredom, I get that, So I put the paper out, right? So you can doodle, I'm not offended. I have high school students. I doodle too. My best t-shirt ideas. I run a screen print club too, as well as teach. And my best ideas have been in district trainings. Yeah, where do they think those ideas come from? Those 6-hour trainings are long. Yeah, I just heard teachers. Yeah, I hear you. Okay. One of the things that we have to understand is that the battle with obesity is not a battle, it's a war. It is a lifelong war. And we are traditional warfare technicians. We are the red coats, black and green coats, whatever coats. And we're like, traditional warfare. But obesity is modern cyber warfare. So we look at obesity as like, yeah, I won this battle, I had surgery, woohoo! But the reality is that obesity is a very sneaky opponent. And obesity uses things in our life against us. Okay? Very sneaky. Like they're hacking and looking for your password, trying to get you to believe that obesity has $1 million to give you. Give me your bank account, right? Only obesity is like, give me those pounds back. I want them back, right? So, when we're battling obesity uses everything. I mean, obesity uses your dog dying. Obesity uses, I don't know, your kid has a pea stuck up his nose. Like anything that could be upsetting or trigger for you, obesity's gonna jump on that. Obesity uses people. I cannot tell you how many people that I have heard ask me, do your colleagues talk smack about your weight loss surgery? Not mine. I'm a nice person, but I'm kind of intimidating. So no one says anything to me, right? Not to my face. And I don't care if people talk about my behind my back. It's not my business what people think of me, right? Okay? But I have had many people say, I had this cousin, I thought she was my best friend, and all of a sudden she's talking about how I, talking smack on my weight loss surgery, and then I cheated and all this stuff. Well, she probably feels threatened, or she's not in a place herself to accept where she's at, or where he's at, right? But do you know who obesity's biggest ally is? Greatest asset in the war in obesity? You and me. We are obesity's greatest ally. Because we sabotage ourselves, right? Cut the crap, right? Oh, it's already gotten heavy. It's only like the first 5 minutes. But it's true. Obesity, we're in a war with obesity. We are its greatest asset. That when you talk about war, it's like assets and allies. We are its biggest asset and its biggest ally. Because we unwittingly, or willingly, fall into traps as we walk our weight loss surgery journeys. And so we need to understand what those kind of lies and pitfalls and traps can be, so that if we are in them, we can get out of them. If we see them, we can avoid them. And that is going to help you and me both. Because remember, this is from my walk. Only 2 items, not from my walk. Okay? I'm struggling with some of this stuff right now. Okay? I just had bad news right before the thing. The desire to just go and get Thin Mint Oreos, which I have a terrible love affair with. That's like a trigger food. No, I'm on it. Ask Dan's order supporter. He will tell you, man. And they're like, I just thought, it's only 1,400 calories for the entire box. They're thin. They fit in nicely, very nicely, right? And so I use stress. So I had to rely on my support system today when I got that bad news, half an hour before the talk, right? So I'm fine. It's just annoying, right? But it is. I'm facing those triggers right now, right? It's not easy, by the way. I was telling people, they're not scary, adults. I taught 22 Blood and Crip gang members my very first day of teaching. I never seen taught. I'm looking out and I'm like, oh, they are scary. No, they're a little intimidating. Yeah. Oh, boy. That's all right. We're in this together. So I want to know, who are my support people? You do not have surgery, but you're supporting. You guys can raise your hand over here. Okay. Support people. Okay. We love you. Thank you. Because without having people support us, we are dead meat. We're not going to make it. We have to have people in our lives who tell us to breathe, who will listen to us, right? We have to have those people. Who are my pre-op people? Anyone pre-op? Who are my first years? You're your first year. Oh, we love you so much. We do, because we get jaded and cynical as we move on, a little complacent, and a little lazy. I'm just saying, a little lazy. And so when you all are like in that first year, you're so like optimistic and you're so energetic, terrified. And we're like, oh, it's okay. And surgeons, right? It's okay. You're not going to break your sleeve or your pouch if you drink from the straw, because that's the only thing there. Just calm the hell down. Someone told me that. I was like, oh my God, I broke my sleeve, I drank the straw, oh my God, oh my God. And they're like, calm the hell down, girl, you're fine. And I was like, oh, thank God, thank God. I wasn't offended, I was thankful. Oh my God. You know, because hi. Oh, hi. I'm trying to geriatric support nurse. Hi. You didn't hear that? Please don't tell our surgeon. Thank you. Yeah. Awkward. So anyway, you guys, we love you. How about my 2 to 5 year? 2 to 5 year? Yeah. You're heading into that danger zone. Oh, was that harsh? You're heading into that danger zone. You gotta be open-minded. Who am I after that? Yeah, I'm heading to my 4th year. Yeah? Anyone 10 or more years out? We adore you. You teach us so much. And you are the hardest on yourselves. The hardest. And I guess mentor couldn't be here today. 15 years. Had RNY before there were things like support groups, before there were internet groups, back when Obesity Help was new. Okay? She was one of the first people kind of, jumping on board with that sort of thing in its 5th year. So she's been around for a long time, and she's so hard on herself, but to us, she's like the role model, right? Because she's very successful 15 years later, and she formed her own support groups, and there weren't any. I mean, lots of knowledge. So those of you who are way beyond my years, I appreciate you, and we appreciate you, and your willingness to help us and to still come to Obesity Help. And to, you're going to cut the crap, not deny that you're a weight loss surgery patient and forgetting where you come from, right? Because there are people who deny. Oh, they say that they have weight loss surgery, they're really open at first, and then like suddenly, it's like we're not their friends anymore, right? So we appreciate your willingness to share your journeys with us even now, because I know it gets tiring, and there's a lack of privacy at times, especially with the internet, but we do appreciate you. Some of the things that when you first start out, that first year, my first year people, and even into year 2, you think, I'm so awesome. These rules don't apply to me. I mean, I thought that. I went from 298 pounds to 171 pounds that first year. Woo! Yeah. I was like, ooh, I'm awesome. I am so awesome. Look at how awesome I am. I don't have to worry about sweet. I haven't gained anything. I've lost all this weight. I don't need to work out that hard. Yeah, you know what the reality is? Year 2.5 came, and so did 15 pounds, right? Yeah, because that first year, this is not a scientific thing, right? I did say I wasn't a doctor. Yeah, not even in my mind. Like, not a WebMD doctor either, so. Most people don't know anything about weight loss surgery. They don't, because it's like, oh, and you're like, oh my God, and then like your surgeon will be like, calm down, calm the hell down. They don't say hell though. Well, mine might. It gets mad. Told me I still need to run a half marathon. I'm like, I'm gonna have surgery, you train like you are gonna run a half marathon. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, he cuts the crap too, that's where I get it from. But Your tool the very first year did 90% of the work. I mean, this is just my rough, this is how I compartmentalize it. It did 90% of the work, and you did 10%, because you were there. I mean, you woke up that day. That's like 10% of the work. Yeah, let me explain. For those of you who are new in year 2, yeah, it flips the other way. It's 90% you, 10% your sleeve, because your sleeve is a tool, or your RMY is a tool, or your duodenal switch, or your lap band, or whatever that new balloon thing is. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but I know that there's some new thing. It's a tool. It is a tool. So, yeah, 10% tool, 90% you. So, just keep that in mind, because you have to do what you've been asked to do, because if not, you're going to suffer from 15, 20, 40 pounds of regain, right? I'm still struggling with it. I was 171 at my lowest. Right now I'm 183, but I've had some health problems, so I haven't been able to run, which is why I'm highly strung. It's kind of mean for this talk, right? Because you wanted me to run 10 miles before I came today, but sorry. So the other thing is, the rules don't apply to me thing is the arrogance. Like, you say, oh, rules don't apply to me, I'm so awesome, but it is really an arrogance. I remember my first year, toward the end, I began to get injured. I have not a spinal injury, but I have osteoarthritis in my spine. And I was told, by the time you're 50, you're going to walk with a cane. You could not have got me to sign up fast enough. Right? I was 42 when I started the process. You could not get me to sign up fast enough. Where's the paper? Can I have surgery tomorrow? Because I didn't want to walk with a cane. I'm a high school teacher. Like, that's temptation. When those kids have senioritis, I'm going to hook that kid. That's terrible. You don't put that much power into somebody's hand. So I was like, I will sign on the dotted line immediately, right? So, but in the first year, I was so great. But then year 2 came, and I started having back injury after back injury after back injury, because I wasn't working out. I was eating sweets. I was doing all that stuff that in the first year I was so awesome. It didn't apply to me. What's this water thing about anyway? Until you go to the ER with dehydration, and then you get the IVs, and it causes other problems too, like you can't poo, cut the crap, right? You cannot poo if you're not in the I don't know if you've ever had those lovely medical technicians in the ER. Yeah, they're super sweet. And they get to know you way too well. Okay, so drink your water. You can all sip right now. It's okay. Or did I tell you I won't lock your phones away either? So do your phone call. I won't even be like, hey, who are we talking to? Yeah, no, I won't do that. I do that in class though. And then I'll take the phone. Oh, yeah, Mom? Yeah, he's good. No, he's studying vocab. Yeah, okay, I'll tell him. You're good, man. And then you cannot skip your follow-up appointments. Yeah, I did that, yeah. And I skipped it, and it turned out that, I ended up running half marathon. I thought it was great. I ran a 10K and half marathon the next day. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I never recovered from it. I thought, man, I'm just tired. I just don't feel like running. I ran the half marathon. I can wait a week or 2 or 8 or 10. And I thought, So I went in and I had a physical with my PCP. He was very close with my surgeon. And he said, oh, you have a thyroid issue. Aren't you tired? And I was like, nah. Well, I talked to people that knew me, and they were like, you never recovered from that half marathon, right? And I was like, but guess what? If I had gone to my surgeon's appointment, I wouldn't have spent 4 or 5 months. I mean, it was like a robot. If you have low thyroid, you know what I'm talking about, right? So I would have caught it earlier had I done what I was supposed to do. Had I gone in correctly, they would have discovered that I had anemia, which is something, especially if you're my bypass siblings, right? You can get anemic very quickly. But for me, it's because I have a medical condition that was uncovered when I had skin removal this summer. And so I'm kind of a jerk, so I'm like, oh yeah, I tell the doctor, the baby's due in 4 months. He's like, well, it's not a baby, but you are looking like you're 4 months pregnant. I'm all, well, excuse me? What? He's like, oh yeah, that's got to come out. So that's supposedly happening this next week. Yeah, hello, like, ooh. And they said, hey, can we have the surgery in the first week of October? And I was like, no, because I had already set this up. Okay, we'll wait. Yeah, you're gonna wait. I gotta go yell at people. I'm just kidding. I don't yell. I just make people cry. I know I'm doing my job if high schoolers cry, just so you know. My kids love me, by the way. They're upset that I have such things. But I have made them cry, I'm not gonna lie. All right, so this second set of lies. Second set of lies. Yeah, because remember, we're talking about cut the crap, right? The lies, the traps, the pitfalls that we either jump into willingly or we fall into, right? So the second set is that weight loss surgery cures everything. It cures everything. I can't even say it with a straight face. It cures everything. Really? Oh, okay. So it did not cure the osteoarthritis in my spine. It did not cure the arthritis in my knees and ankles. Okay? It didn't cure that. It made it better, for sure. I ran a half marathon, so obviously it made it better, right? But it's partially true, because I was pre-diabetic, I had hypertension, okay, I couldn't sleep at night. There are many things that it does mitigate, right? It makes things better. But guess what it doesn't cure? Relationship problems. So if you have problems like that are intrinsic to you, or maybe you've had trauma in the past, or maybe you're like me. I'm nice. I've had people tell me that. I'm not just saying that because I'm saying I'm nice, but I mean, over like 20 years of teaching, like parents and stuff will say, "Oh, you're so nice." So I have to believe them, because a lot of people say that. You cross one of my students with a special need, I'm an asshole. You discriminate against one of my students. Yeah. So I see you back there. You discriminate against one of my students based on their disability, you're going to see a whole new Kate Nash coming at you. The only difference now is that I can sustain being an asshole forever. Because before, I would get tired and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, I'll just deal with you. I want to rip your face off." But now, yeah, I'm your worst nightmare, and I can keep it up all year long. Because that's my job, right? But it doesn't cure your personality deficits. It can enhance them. It enhance my asshole, right? I think I'm at $50, by the way. I think that's I think hell should be like a free word, by the way. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. Good. Okay. But I think those are $15 words. So I'm at 45 right now. You gotta be careful. I don't want to run over. My bank account can't take it. There's a Starbucks next door. But anyway, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. I had that moment where I was like, I could get a cold brew after. Yeah. Okay, sorry. But I do have like acid reflux. There are things that have crept up. The acid reflux is a result of my weight loss surgery. I didn't really have it before, and now because I have sometimes sleep is gay. And I'm keeping an eye on that situation. But there are other things it didn't cure. It didn't cure, for me, it did not cure my infertility. But I was also 42. I was kind of getting long in the tooth anyway. So it didn't cure that. But for other people, it has. So it's not the magic pill for all these things, right? But particularly for relationship issues, it can help or it can hurt, right? So you have to be aware of that, especially when you get into the second, third, fourth year, when we start to have these pitfalls, right? And you can allow it to come, your tool to come in between you and other people. Okay, so you gotta be really careful with that. And me too. I mean, my husband and I get over stuff. Hi, Vance, what is it for today? Yeah, no, he's giving me the eye, because he's like, "You have how many pairs of checks? I thought it was only 10. What?" Just kidding, he knows. He had to put the IKEA furniture together. IKEA is the only way I can store them, because there's so many. It's sad. Your skin, you're not going to look like J-Lo or The Rock. I mean, you might be blessed genetically with that way. I have some friends like that, and I'm like, I hate you. Not really. But, I mean, most of us have skin issues, and the reality is that you might have skin issues, but you also don't have hypertension. Your diabetes may have gone into remission. For me, my PCOS went into remission. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, that went into remission. So there's like good and bad, right? So you have to take it for what it is. And weight loss surgery, despite the fact that there are people, doctors, surgeons, who are going to disagree with me, I don't care. I want to drop a $50 word about that, but I'm so close to like the budget that. But the reality of the situation is food can be addictive.
Amen.
Okay? Oh, can I get, that's like everyone should be like, yeah. That's probably the only thing y'all really happen to do when I say that. So food can be an addictive thing. Yeah, you know what? There are people who are addicted to sipping laundry soap. That's an addiction too. So I don't want to hear it. If you have a problem, see, I deal with functions of behavior. I'm a special education teacher. I deal with functions of behavior. If the function of your behavior when you eat is not to fuel your body, you're using it for something else. That is not a good thing. And it can lead to you doing that all the time, which is an addictive type behavior. And now, I'm not an expert in food addiction, but I'm just telling you how functions of behavior work. If I am afraid of talking in front of people, guess what I'm not signing up to do, right? Because the function of that behavior I'm going to avoid. Okay, I'm going to avoid it. So, if you have a problem with food addiction, I had a problem with food. I still struggle though. When my triggers are boredom and stress. I'm a high school teacher. I teach freshmen and seniors. Oh, help me. Especially in May. So I can get very stressed out. And then, any special ed teachers in here? Yeah, that paperwork? Yeah, it's life-sucking. Yeah, I love meeting with parents. I love working on kids. I love working with them. It's like my life work. I love teenagers, especially when they're Chef Gordon Ramsay. And where is my cooked French risotto? Yeah, I got that this week. Yeah, so I love my job. I didn't even get mad. I just told him, hey, Chef Ramsay, tone it down. Right? But the reality of the situation is that paperwork is so crushingly boring. All these boxes. Box. Oh, you missed the box. Now you have to do an audit. Yeah. It triggers my boredom eating badly, so I have to be very careful, especially as the school year heats up. And so, but I have tried to deal with that. But in serious food addiction, there are people to help you. Support groups, therapists, even a mentor that can help you. Because that is something that you might need assistance with, okay? And it's something that can rear its ugly head. You might think, I'm fine, and then year 5 comes, and all of a sudden, maybe you haven't been taking your vitamins as well, right? And you start to get a little down because your body's kind of like out of whack, and you start regaining, and it can create a vicious cycle, and all of a sudden, the food addiction problems that you thought you had conquered come back. Because addiction of many types, they are also allies with obesity. And so we fight a multiple front war for our lives. Okay? I gotta get a little bit less like, it's a little down. So this one's gonna be the one that pisses you off though. I love this one. Who was here last year? Rocky Alexander? Oh, remember he did the most brilliant analogy about this next talk. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Moderation. Everything in moderation. What a load of crap that is. What a load of crap. I'm going to say it because I'm at like, maybe 50. I'll give you like a couple points for that, for all those hells. What a bunch of bullshit. Right? What a bunch of bullshit. Okay, I gotta tone it down though. I'm going to run out of my $100. So, it is. If you have a trigger food, Thin Mint Oreos goes in here, lands here. Yeah, not even in a good way either. It just comes right in and lands right on my hips, right? And they're big enough as they are. So if you have a trigger food, there's no moderation about that. You are basically jumping in front of a train. And that train for me is Thin Mint Oreos. I know it. I cannot have them in the house. I'm not a big ice cream fan. So it's okay if my husband brings ice cream home. Especially chocolate, because chocolate ice cream and I, we're never friends, even before I had weight loss surgery. So he can bring it home, he can eat it, he's tall and lean. He's tall and lean. He doesn't want to answer questions, by the way. We love you. But he can bring that home, it's not a trigger. Those toasty Cheez-Its, those extra toasty Cheez-Its, those are a trigger. I mean, there are certain things that I will mow through. Mindless eating. I'm also a gamer. So I run, but I also spend hours in front of the Xbox, right? So I have to be very careful that I am not eating Well, I'm killing all those dragons or whatever is on the screen. There are no dragons, actually. Are there? The new ESO patch. Elder Scrolls Online? I'm such a nerd. You probably knew that already, though. I'm wearing a bunny. I'm 45 years old. I'm pretty much a nerd. That's right. You got to embrace yourself, right? But Rocky Alexander came up with this great thing, and he said, if you're a crack addict and you go to a crack convention, they're like, hey, it's everything in moderation. Just take a hit off the pipe. That man is wise. And I remember sitting there thinking, I need someone to tell me more things like that. Moderation is a lie. Moderation is like, yes, I can eat certain things in moderation, but not my trigger foods. So whatever your triggers are, there's no moderation in them. That's how we got here, because we couldn't control those things, right? Because they controlled us. And so to think that now I'm going to be strong, I'm going to be able to control that, you're setting yourself up for a fall. So just avoid it. It's the best thing to do, okay? I do have a love affair with candy season too. Candy season, Halloween through, I don't have kids, so Mother's Day's out for me, but Halloween through Easter. Right. Oh yeah, but then other people are like, but then there's Mother's Day, and then there's that 4th of July candy, there is no such thing. Because once you hit Mother's Day, people, you're like, yeah, give your dad some candy for Father's Day. No, the truffles. The truffles, no, not those, right? Yeah, Mom, you know how you are. I know, I got one at home. Okay, so once you get into that pattern, right? That's how I had to regain candy season. It's only one little thing that I grazed through 5 classrooms, right? Yeah, so I have to be careful. Like if they don't see me for a couple weeks, they're like, oh, you're struggling, huh? Because they know my patterns at work. I'm really upfront. The kids don't know I have weight loss surgery, but all of the adults do. You know, it is what it is. For me, if you have not shared, it's no one else's business. But for me, we had a staff member who was dying, who was diagnosed with cancer, and she is cancer-free now. But she dropped so much weight, I was worried the very first day I walked back after weight loss surgery, first thing out of the kid's mouth, oh my God, do you have cancer? No, honey, I don't. But I didn't want the staff thinking I did either. Because that's like 100 people. I didn't want to have to say it again and again, right? So, but being upfront is up to you, okay? You know I love you, right? You know I love you. My weight loss family. If it were not for you, I would not be here. I have support, but I learned so much from you. From pre-op all the way to our people who are like our veteran weight loss family members, okay? But this is one of those areas that I don't struggle with. And I'm just going to cut the crap. Don't complain to me and to other people about your regain if you're partying in the club every night. Right? You're partying in the club every night drinking, and you're like, I don't know why I gained 10 pounds. Really? I'm not eating that much. No, because you're drinking your calories. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to preach at people. Remember, I'm not your preacher, your teacher, your doctor, your brother's former college roommate sister. I'm not any of those people, okay? But don't complain to me if you're out partying every night, right? Because honestly, you have to take a good look at yourself. I admit the Thin Mint Oreo thing, man. There are certain things that are triggers, and man, that when I don't complain about the regain because I did it to myself, okay? And so that has to be, like, we've got to be honest with ourselves, honest. Sometimes we need a kick in the ass. I'm at what, like 80 now, right? Okay, that's like a $10 word. Makes people uncomfortable. But yeah, you have to own it, okay? But that's going to lead us to some other things later on, all right? But there's the reason why that is important, though, to point that out is because that can be a transfer addiction. Transfer addiction, for our new folks, that's when you transfer your addiction to food or your problems with food to something else, right?
Like alcohol.
Like alcohol. Shopping, sex, right? That's not a $10 word. Sex. How many people do we all know? We all know the former college roommates, brothers, sisters, cousins, girlfriend who cheated on her boyfriend or her husband or whoever, or the man who went out and found all the honey after he had weight loss surgery. There's this addiction to recapturing what we thought we lost. Right? I was overweight all the way through college, and then when I met my husband, Ken, I'll stop calling him advanced worker supporter even though he is. Ken and I, he's tall and lean. We wore the same clothes. And then because I was starving, because I was working 16 hours a day, so I had a different relationship with food then. An equally bad relationship with food. And so I had dropped in like maybe 4 months, I had dropped 80 pounds just from not eating. I would only eat once every 4 days. I was working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay, so I had a different relationship with food. But I gained, of course, all back and then some, right? So I've always been overweight, but I never felt like I missed out on clubs and things because it's not my style. Irish clubs, dancing in the club, no, it's not for me. It's just not my personality. Because remember, I'm kind of an a-hole. So the club thing, like people are nicer there. They just come and dance together, and I'm just like, just play some Celtic music and give me some whiskey. So I do not have a problem with alcohol, by the way. It is not the alcohol that is the issue. It is the transfer addiction. This is terrible. Close your ears, Heidi. So my bestie came in from Texas. Well, when my husband and I go and visit them, we went to a distillery and we bought a special bottle of whiskey. It's like a thing with us, right? And so I have that bottle here because she flew in to see me. We're not going to drink the whole bottle, but are we going to have a drink tonight? Yes. It's not the alcohol. It's the function of the behavior, okay? And so, you could be a smoker, a toker. I feel like it's not, right? I can't sing either. I can't dance, I can't sing. I just wave my arms around and people think I can dance. But, or maybe you're just a jerk. You know that you're like, hey, drama mama and drama papa. You were one beforehand. You probably have the energy to sustain it, kind of like I do being an a-hole, right? Forever. Because you have more energy now to cause trouble if you're a drama king or a drama queen, right? So that can be an addictive behavior. And so can going to the gym. Yeah, I said it, right? I said it. When I was training for that half marathon, I was doing paired runs, Newport to Huntington Beach on the weekends. And I would have done it every day. My husband was like, you cannot run this every day. But it wasn't that high at the end. Whew. You just have this adrenaline rush. And whatever that adrenaline rush is, whether it's from causing drama, or, smoking too much, or drinking Diet Pepsi, or whatever your transfer addiction of choice is, shopping, I hear that a lot. And that's not often talked about. Usually it's sex and drugs, or alcohol. But that shopping thing, man, it can get you into trouble. Okay? It can. So you want to definitely, I'm running out of time. You want to definitely look take a long, hard look, okay? These next two are super important. I call them my comparison companions, okay? My comparison companions, they come in a little match set like salt and pepper. So there's comparing yourself to others. So one of the Roosevelts, I think it was Theodore, said comparison is the thief of joy. And it is. Social media is a lie. I'm so awesome, and you're looking at this guy or this girl who has photoshopped the shit out of their pictures. I'm at 99. I got $1 left. Yeah. They Photoshop themselves, and then when we're in moments of weakness, look at those Photoshop pictures and go, I suck. Why should I try? I suck. Right? Look at the media. What they put in our faces. The body shaming. Look at her skin. Look at her thighs. Right? Look at his arms. Right?
Right.
It's a lie. All of it. But guess what? There's another way we use social media as a lie. Oh my God. I'm not as bad as her, so it's okay if I drink this giant Frappuccino and have a Snicker bar, because look at that one. We use it to compare ourselves to justify our own behavior. right? So not only do we make ourselves feel bad because we can't live up to this unattainable example, but then we'll use it too. I'm not as bad as that person. That one's falling apart. I got my act together, so it's okay that I've had 5 pounds of regain from Thin and Oreos, because I don't suck as bad as that other person. It's the same thing. It's a lie. Okay, it is a lie. And so, be careful on social media. If you follow me on Instagram, what you see is what you get. You see me without makeup, yard work, okay? You see me complaining about the skunk in my screen print shop? Good Lord. That was worth, I would buy myself, by the way, but that was worth $200 worth of swear words right there. God. Skunks. And comparing yourself with the past. My biggest thing, I have 36 pairs of Vans now because I'm worth it. I'm thin. Yeah, I did that a lot my first couple of years. I'm worth it now, and I'm thin. You were worth it then. My dumb ass didn't realize that I had value then. And now I have to forgive myself for how I treated myself. You have to forgive yourselves for how you treated yourselves because you were dumbasses too. Not all of you. Sorry, I just offended half of you. Oh, damn it, I went over my budget. Okay, but the reality is that you have to forgive yourself for how you treated yourself back then because society told us we weren't valuable, but we are. We are valuable at every step of this walk. Okay? The companion line, this is the other area that I don't struggle with. I was better off then. Your blood work begs to differ. Your comorbidities, they beg to differ. If you're in your 20s, you probably didn't have the same comorbidities that I had at 42, but guess what? You would in 20 years. Only maybe worse, right? Because I was pretty active. Okay? So it is very important that if there's things in your past causing you to feel that way, trauma, those types of things, please see someone. Please talk to someone. A trained someone. If those are issues where you are using the way that you were before to hold people back because of pain, please see someone. Because that can affect your future forever. And that obesity will ruthlessly use against you. Sorry. Downer. Let's pick it up a bit. This is the I got it figured out list. Yeah, the rest of them all fit on one card. No, this one didn't. Really quickly, I got it all figured out. I don't need to exercise. I'm awesome. No, people. You have rules from the surgeon's office. You signed up for a lifetime commitment to yourself, which included exercise and drinking water and taking your vitamins. And there's lots of new research showing that people who have had weight loss surgery who are not taking their vitamins can suffer from depression. Depression goes hand in hand with obesity. It's like obesity's little bestie, right? It can cause obesity, or it can be caused by obesity, right? So they run together in a pack. Okay, we got to break up that wolf pack. This fill in the name of the diet is awesome. I am not against diets. I have friends who have lost all their weight and they're on Weight Watchers now, or they're doing different diets and things because that is how they're maintaining their weight. But just be careful of the yo-yo dieting because we all did that before. It didn't work out too well for us, right? So be careful. Okay, be careful. I can't, whatever it is, find the time, find the help, get enough water, meal prep. You gotta make time. You gotta make time for yourself. Self-care is very important, okay? I'm blank years out from surgery. I'm not a weight loss surgery patient anymore. Yeah, you go ahead and take those NSAIDs, find out what happens to you. Your doctor, your dental doctor, like your oral surgeon thing, they're not really up on that whole thing. So you need to be your own medical advocate. Okay? You are always a weight loss surgery patient. You don't have to tell people you are, but when you go to the doctor, you are forever. Don't forget where you came from. And for God's sake, and I'm just gonna tell you flat out, you will see the a-hole side of me if I find you fat shaming people when you were a weight loss surgery patient. What? Have you lost your damn mind? I'm at 1,000 by now. You lost your damn mind. Fat shaming people. You didn't like it when people did it to you. I have plastics you. I don't need support. Ha. You know how many people said that? I don't need support. Well, guess what? That makes you the ally to obesity. That is what makes you fall into that. Because without support, and you're on your own, no weight loss surgery patient is an island. There are people around you who need to help you, and if you don't reach out, get really quick because I know people are coming in. The advice from my OW, I was going to say OG, but you know what OG means, right? Original gangsta. Gangsta. She's kind of gangsta too, but I said OW, original weight loss surgery patient. These are her 3 pieces of advice to you. She's 15 years, she's still a weight loss surgery patient. She said, please tell them I'm still a weight loss surgery patient at 15 years. Thank you. That was like her number 1 thing. She said, keep it easy and simple and stay with the basics. Regain is possible, but just work through it. It's not the end of your world. You made a lifelong commitment when agreeing to have surgery. Take your vitamins and follow the rules that you were given. They helped you use your tool optimally. Use it. I have a whole load of people at the door. I think I'm running over. So sorry. So anyway, thank you so much. Hopefully we'll get some big stuff.